President for Eastern and Southern Africa, Ms. Victoria Kwakwa, paid a courtesy call on President Dr. Mokgweetsi Masisi this morning. President Masisi welcomed Ms. Kwakwa on her first visit to Botswana and commended the World Bank's continuous support to Botswana's economic transformation journey. The President mentioned that Botswana aims to achieve its high-income status through the digital transformation, adding that the World Bank support is critical in this endeavor. Meanwhile, the President also highlighted that Botswana is eagerly waiting for the review of SACU program by the World Bank.
We wait with eager anticipation for your support to pledge in the review of our SACU program. Urgent. We're glad that you did pay attention, your colleagues who are here. And were responsive and pretty rapid and engaged in the Ministry of Finance. We look forward with eagerness to further advances in support of the digital and artificial economy. We have repositioned ourselves, as you may well be aware, following COVID, to put in place our reset agenda. And are actively pursuing a budget and financing strategy to try and drive us to a high income status. We're really focused, we're committed in our financing and budget strategy to try and do all we can to drive our rate of growth and the diversification based on our reset agenda. And so this support in these critical areas, transport, logistics, digital economy, are critical for us to take us forward. You will see, as you may well have read, that we're really trying to grow the export and private sector aspects of our economy.
We're really glad about the partnership that we have with Botswana. And I think that we can do even more at a time when you're really trying to get to the next level of your development, and at a time when the World Bank is also looking to become a better bank to serve its clients better, a more responsive bank, a bank that's more creative, that is forward-leaning and really thinking outside the box to bring solutions to countries, including countries like Botswana.
United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization UNESCO and the Foundation L'Oreal will today recognize and award 30 brilliant African women scientists from the sub-Saharan region for the excellence of their scientific research. Among others, the foundation seeks to address challenges faced by women scientists, particularly related to gender discrimination and stereotypes, of finding a balance between professional and personal life. 2 Botswana women will be among the award recipients. The awards will be held at Kasane, officiated by President Dr. Mokgweetsi Masisi, together with the First Lady, Ms. Neo Masisi.
2 Botswana will be awarded today. So Young Women Botswana, that I think. In the past, we've had some, actually in the cumulative history, we've had 4 awarded thus far. But of course, the judging, all of that is done by a panel with integrity and things. So, you know, we'll find out today, this evening, who those Botswana are. But what I can say to you is just think about it. These 2 come from 650 or plus, somewhere the applications. So it makes a real statement about the quality of the research work that we are now achieving in Botswana. If you know we're able to achieve 2, and that 2 is even within 30, and that's within Southern Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa.
The U.S. Ambassador to Botswana, Mr. Howard Van Vranken, says his office will continue supporting non-governmental organizations in their efforts of improving lives of community members. Mr. Van Vranken said this when issuing grants to NGOs that benefited from the ambassador's self-help program. More than 700,000 pula was awarded to 3 beneficiaries to be used for any possible developmental exercise in their organizations. In the past 5 years, 11 million pula has been awarded to over 90 community-based projects across the country.
The role of non-governmental organizations in the society is one that cannot be ignored, as they assist the government in ensuring that services reach at least every Motswana, regardless of their geographical location. It is against this reality that the U.S. ambassador says key players in community projects and outreach programs should be acknowledged and supported to motivate such organizations to thrive.
We look for non-profit organizations, and those are the ones that we're kind of focused on, because typically the things that the non-profits are doing are consistent with what we're looking to support here in Botswana, and we like to leverage our money against the activities that they're doing as well. I think Botswana has an unlimited potential, virtually unlimited potential for developing human talent. And these are exactly the kinds of seeds that I love to plant and see them grow and blossom here in the future.
At times, NGOs face a couple of challenges, including financial constraints, which one way or the other hampers on their progress, and grants will assist them to keep afloat and be progressive with their goals.
So again, we want to thank American Embassy for funding us, as we will be doing programs for the youth across the country, and again we'll be training all the deaf people who have never ever went to school, or those who don't know sign language, and we'll be training the nurses or all healthy departments. As you know, issues of accessibility in health departments is a big issue and a challenge for the deaf people.
But I think there's a lot of artificial intelligence, machine learning, so we need to prepare young people for the jobs of tomorrow. So with this award, we are going to make sure that we reach out to young people in rural areas.
Madia a go thusa go simolola go epa sediba re ka go kela sediba re dirisa re se pompa ka di solar panel ra reka di solar panel re tsenya pompa ya di solar panel so ka go dira jalo tabore mongwe le mongwe bona le mmenyana go na le letseno mo gae.
For the past 5 years through this program, the Ambassador's Office have awarded 11 million pula to support over 90 community-based projects across the country. In this event, more than 700,000 pula was awarded to the 3 beneficiaries to be used for any possible developmental exercise in their organizations. BTV News, Gaborone.
Homolemo Motlanyana, who is accused of killing her wife, Kibabope Motlanyana, at a women's shelter on the 24th of May this year, where she had gone to seek refuge. This morning pleaded with Broadhurst Magistrate Horatile Moremi Ramakoloi to issue an order to allow him to access his funds at Standard Bank Botswana to pay his loan. Motlanyana made this plea when he was appearing for mention. Now, moving on, in order for this country to produce high-value and tradable goods for competitive trading amongst the Southern African countries as well as internationally, Minister of Trade and Industry Mmusi Kgafela says that as a region they have anticipated growth in industrialization and trade with the SADC industrialization strategy and roadmap. Minister Kgafela said this during a press brief yesterday in Gaborone.
Minister Kgafela said that in using advanced technology, there will be a growth to modernize manufacturing capacity in order to produce these high-value exportable goods.
Often, Africans, we suffer the inherent thought that every pathway we set our foot in is inherently laden with lions. And then we prefer to sit and do nothing about it. Let's and do things which are unusual.
SADC member states have dispersed high-level delegations to participate and help with challenges of regional integration, trade, poverty, inequality, and vulnerability.
Southern Africa, it really is a stable, quote-unquote, stable region. It's unlike maybe West Africa where there are a lot of coups happening and so on. But I also say perhaps we shouldn't get too comfortable, because what we have for Southern Africa is really high levels of unemployment. And I can already see instability bubbling up from a lot of our youth who are lurking around without jobs and so on. Hence the reason that we cannot afford not to speak to the issues that we have in terms of poverty and inequality.
The 29th meeting of the Intergovernmental Committee of Senior Officials and Experts of Southern Africa 2023 ended on Thursday. Khorata Moranyani, BTV News, Gaborone.
You're watching BTV News and thank you for staying with us. Now, moving on, in light of a changing landscape of development, increased expenses of managing and running a church, this calls for adoption of improved or new fundraising strategies. This was emphasized by the Assistant Minister of Trade and Industry, Ms. Beauty Manake, during the Faith Gospel After Christ's annual Clap and Tap Choir Festival in Silipikwe recently. Karabo Mulisi was there.
Hosting the annual Clap and Tap Choir Festival has evolved into a tradition for the Faith Gospel After Christ Church. 10 choirs from FGAC branches across the country convened in Silipikwe for this year's annual festival to carry on their journey in praising the Lord, rejuvenating their faith and preaching behavioral change among the youth and the congregation. The proceeds from this festival are used to drive the programs of the church, including charitable initiatives.
re na le dikgaisano ya nongkong go go itshupiwang gore mang ke mang dikhwaere di hiwa temana hela bogote tsamayang lo irang pina.
This festival created a platform for the FGAC leadership to harness critical information on available government programs such as the Arts Council that they can use to develop the talent of Clap and Tap.
Gambling Authority ke lekalana le leng gore le lebagane le go regulate di tselana tse leng gore di harologane tse leng gore di ka dirisiwa gone bo fundraising a ke relate le iri di raffle di raffle jaaka re di dira jana ka ha molaong di santse di sa regulate ka gore ga re ise re ntse di license tsa teng mme mo nakong e leng gore ga e hedise pelo di tantshiwa gore le kgone gore le di resente le phuthulogile ebile le di dire kana le di dirise gone gore le ka kgobokanyetsa kereke madi
re utlwile ka tsele ka thusang ka tsona re ka di sela morago ka re ke a dumela gore go ba maru ha re lebeletse lefase ke kwa huiwang ha o ka lebela di likitse ditona tsa dikhula dinao he di sponsora ke tsona o betwe hora le nna ha re gatela ko
Currently, the church survives on contributions from the congregation and donations from various stakeholders. Hence, the new programs are expected to be beneficial to the church. Karabo Mulusi, BTV News, Silipikwe.
Minister of Trade and Industry, Mr. Mmusi Kgafela, says eradicating extreme poverty, upholding equality, regional integration and inclusive development within the African continent could enable countries to successfully implement trade agreements, including the African Continental Free Trade Area. Minister Kgafela made the remarks at the ongoing 29th meeting for the Intergovernmental Committee of Senior Officials and Experts of Southern Africa in Gaborone. Wame Khasudi has more.
47 African countries alongside regional economic communities, RECs, have ratified the AfCFTA agreement, which was launched in 2019. The agreement solidifies the African Union Agenda 2030 and 2063 aspirations, which seek to advance unity, sustainable development, peace and socio-economic development within the African continent. Meanwhile, there are some impediments to the full implementation of the AfCFTA agreement in some SADC countries.
Southern Africa is the most unequal region in the world, and the gap between the rich and the poor in our countries continues to widen. Despite all the efforts to support economic activity focused on addressing the inequality and poverty gaps.
It cannot be right for a woman to be paid less than a man for a job or work of equal value, for women and youth to be denied access to finance for SMEs for our citizens to be deprived of quality basic health care. Because all of those are elements contributing to poverty and inequality in Africa, in African societies, which if not attended to, it will make it close to impossible to achieve full implementation of AFCFTA.
The region continues to grapple with high levels of poverty, inequality, and a significant wealth gap. To address these challenges, promoting manufacturing through more agro-processing and mineral beneficiation activities will improve service delivery and development.
Botswana is said to be amongst the countries which are progressing well in endeavors to implement the AFCFTA agreement.
Out of the SADC member states, I think that now we have about 6 or so countries that have ratified, they've developed their national AFCFTA strategies. And I was also just telling the minister, I was really proud because we had a team last week here that was here to deliberate on the draft strategy for Botswana.
COMESA has remained committed and actively involved in undertaking activities that support continental integration, breaking down borders through tariff.
The 29th meeting of the Intergovernmental Committee of Senior Officials and Experts of Southern Africa this morning elected Botswana as chair, Angola as vice chair, and Zambia as rapport to lead the Peru. Wame Khasudi, BTV News, Gaborone.
Now, lastly, the Minister of Defence and Security, Mr. Kagiso Mosi, says plans are underway to train and issue arms and ammunition to private security companies in order for them to help government reduce crime in the country. The minister highlighted this at a stakeholder engagement meeting in Gaborone. Wabitsu Mpulubusi was there.
With the skyrocketing crimes in the country, Botswana are now not at ease, as this year over 32,000 locals have applied for firearm licenses in a quest to protect their lives and property. However, the Minister of Defence and Security, Mr. Kagiso Mosi, says Botswana is known for its peaceful coexistence and they will not allow many individuals to carry firearms, but instead they will train private security personnel to enhance security in the country.
Ke batla gore re hokotse quota re train private security companies so that they play that role ya gore ba be le gore re khona go ba monitora re khona go manage kana no ha mo le monga ka tshola tlhobolo things might get out of hand mme ha re anon re ka monitora re itse gore we issue licenses, there are systems and processes tse leng gore di company tso work accordingly. We will do that. The Act allows that private security companies can be armed.
Additionally, the Private Security Licensing Board says the development of the Cash in Transit manual is at an advanced stage in an endeavor to curb cash in transit heists.
Ke manual e leng gore ta be khobokantse ditsamaiso tsa ka ha madi a tabonga tsamaya ka teng go tswa kwa tabanga tsa teng go ya kwa tabanga go diriswa teng go tshwana le ko di ATM machines kana a tswa ko di bankeng a ya ko di ATM machines kana a tswa ko di customer tse di dirisa madi a mantsi a go mabelong ha sna go dirisiwa mo maitseboe.
Meanwhile, the minister highlighted the importance of public education on issues of parole, as this will help reintegrate offenders into the society.
Ao tsama mo dikgotla meeting mo tla utlwa batho ba re kana batho hela ha motho a hetsa go butswa mo rakame ka moso kopana nae ha motho a hetsa go bola motho ka moso ntshitswe mo tronkong mme le gala bentse le dio tse re nang re di sekaseka ha ke lebella dikgang tse di tshwanang letse.
The stakeholder engagement meetings will help strengthen collaboration between law enforcement agencies in both government and the private sector. Wabetsu Mpulubusi, BTV News, Gaborone.
And that is the news this hour. Do stay with us. Eliza Oseking on standby to take you through the world of sport.
Thank you so much, Olibile. Good afternoon. My name is Liza Oseking with your world of sport.
And in our first story, Kuzanaini Motswakgole is set to continue leading Botswana Table Tennis Association for the next 4 years, following his endorsement by the affiliates at the association's elective annual general meeting held in Gaborone on Tuesday. The elective AGM also ushered in new leadership in other 5 executive positions, which will guide the BTTA until the year 2027. Tlamelo Munsusi has the report.
Motswakgole, who has been in the presidency position since 2019, went into the elective AGM unopposed. However, the election committee noted that he has to be confirmed by the affiliates during the meeting where Nhabe Table Tennis served as the mover and seconded by BDF Club. Motswakgole says the decision to allow him to serve as the president for another term gives him a chance to continue rolling out his development strategy, which he started in 2019.
As a matter of record, Reza Table Tennis Ilimoyo Tier 2 being the mainly high impact sporting code. There are 4 tiers could be in EC. Tier 4, Yabakotas. Tier 3, Bakaisaba. Tier 2, the Tier 1. Yanu, my Galorno Harto Harisa Kotawa. Miakara Akraisa Kotawa Nehla, it business as usual. Oh, the very stagnant. Rako welcome more. Catholic Missionary. Monoqua Committee. Aren't Berek. Harasa Berek, Nakitu Sajika. Kesa favor Obe.
In other positions, Ratile Morapedi retained his position as Vice President Admin after defeating Zakaria Sabo by 3 votes to 2. Gabo Mosaro will serve as the Vice President Technical after aging out Boikise Lerio. Khudirlo Nebahwasi was unopposed as Development Coordinator. Tsofatso Malepa will continue as the Public Relations Officer after gaining 4 votes versus 1 against Matlogonolo Tirelo. Uabona Raditloko hold the position of Vice President Finance until the appointment of her successor at the BTTA next Special Congress. At the end, Botswana Table Tennis Association added members to their family with the endorsement of Boto Corps, BMC Maung, Love Botswana, Newton International, and Qualipro Holdings to take the number of affiliates up to 10. Tlamelo Muntusi, BTV Sport, Gaborone.
Botswana Netball Association President Malebo Raditladi Nkakile admitted that they are still grappling with raising funds to host the 2023 African Netball Championships slated for the 26th of this month. Raditladi Nkakile highlighted this at the Lukara Botswana Netball sponsorship launch held in Gaborone recently. Lydia Poloko has the story.
The 2023 African Netball Cup was initially to be held in Uganda. However, the Eastern African nations pulled out a few months back, citing several logistical and financial challenges. Africa's netball governing body then approached Botswana to see if they can come to the rescue and host the 2023 edition. However, Botswana Netball Association President Malebo Raditladi Nkakile says since accepting the hosting rights to the annual competition, they have been battling along with Botswana National Sport Council to work on logistical and financial assistance to enable them to successfully host the championships later this month.
To date, we are still struggling through the help of the BNSC to find ways to pay the university to host that event. The hosting of that event came at a bad time where both of us as the BNSC and the Bona don't have anything to assist with. It was supposed to be hosted by Uganda, and through communication that Uganda is unable to host, the AN delegation came through to speak to the leadership of sport and Bona to plead to assist, and we did all we could to find ways to host, but still nothing to show.
Bona president says the short time they have to prepare for the Continental Netball Games hasn't helped their situation, but noted that the turnout will be a great opportunity to raise the profile of the sport in the country.
We have not lost hope, and I hope and trust that was all of you who are here, you are listening, and maybe you have somebody who can contribute to assist Bona and the BNSC to be able to see that dream come true. because we will welcome that support. And I want you to all know that to see this is important to us in the hosting. It's not impossible, and others see it as impossible to host, but it's our advantage, because if we were not meant to host, and then we are being asked to host, and Botswana will, if this competition is taken elsewhere because of lack of funds, the team Botswana will not be able to take part, and that means losing the Africa rankings and also the world rankings. That alone will kill the hype that you have created, that we have at the moment.
Namibia hosted the 2021 edition before defending champion hosted last year in Tshwane, where the tournament also played as a qualifier for the 2023 World Cup, which was staged in Cape Town. If Botswana Netball Association is successful in assembling all that is needed to host the championship, they shall run from the 26th of this month till the 6th of December. Lydia Poloko, BTV Sport, Gaborone.
And finally, in the UEFA Champions League games played yesterday, Napoli and UNN played to a 1-1 draw in Group C encounter. Arsenal are within touching distance of qualifying for the Champions League knockout stages after a 2-0 victory over Sevilla to lead Group B with 9 points. Bundesliga champions Bayern Munich are through to the next round after beating Galatasaray 2-1, while Manchester United are lingering at the bottom of Group A after an epic 4-3 defeat to FC Copenhagen. 13-time Champions League winners Real Madrid eased past the FC Braga 3-0 to qualify for the knockout stage and lead Group C with 12 points, while Inter Milan edged out RB Salzburg 1-0. And that is it for sport this hour. I'll be back with more at 5 o'clock, but stay tuned because In Context continues right after this with Ulibile Samoka.